a docket command, and I'm running it right now. There was a question posed, and Kessa has put in the docket about whether we had some more Jackbox game nights on Saturdays. Would there be any interest in attending? And would there be any members interested in actually hosting the Jackbox event? I can say without fail, there's interest in attendance. I'm not sure who would run the thing. Obviously, we only have a few people that actually have the Jackbox party packs, but they have different ones from each other. So, Wolf, I will say you don't specifically have to be a member to join the game night or even to run the game night, as far as I'm aware. That's up for debate. But I mean, if we had somebody like yourself who's a participator in the community and does things with us quite often and everything, you might be a candidate for helping us out. We'll have to talk about that.
I know I brought it up a few days ago. I didn't necessarily volunteer to host anything, but I brought up to one of the other guys earlier about having a Saturday event just because of the fact that I'm so tired during the week after work, and I don't have really time to. Well, to be honest, I typically it would be like 9 o'clock Eastern, which is honestly earlier than I like to be, but I'm too tired by that point after work. So if we could have something maybe on Saturdays or Sundays, it doesn't matter, but just a weekend day where I feel like I could have more time to attend to and not feel as tired, I would appreciate that.
I have to agree with what he's saying. Also, I mean, even those of us who don't always have like a job type of situation holding us back, we have certain routines that we take care of during the week that are slightly looser on the weekend. And I would be a big fan of Jackbox Party Pack on Saturday because I often don't get on Discord until a little later in the evening on the nights that it's held. And I find out about it afterwards, and I'm like, no. So yeah. So yeah. Anybody have anything to add to this? I mean, we're asking a general question. If you have any thoughts, or
I typically have other things that go on Saturday, but I mean, I have Jackbox Party Pack 2 and 6, and I'd be happy to host it every once in a while when I have the ability.
well, that's cool. Does everybody in general like the idea? I mean, would we have other attendees? Do you think anybody? I don't have a whole lot of a pro section of the community tonight, but anybody interested?
Yeah, I'd be interested on Saturday nights. I also have 3 and 4, so if something needs hosted, I could do that.
So really, we should just kind of coordinate who's got it and who wants to do it, and maybe schedule like a month in advance or something.
The challenge will be in hosting. I can purchase or I can provide some of the party packs. I already host 3 events a week, and for anybody who does host these events on a regular basis, it takes reliability. It's hard to show up every week. You know, maybe there's things you'd rather be doing that night. And for me, it's not hard. I don't have a lot of other demands on my time right now. But if for someone who's a parent or maybe a student, it can get draining. So if you do sign up for these, just we understand that you may not be able to do it all the time. And also the challenge for establishing this event, however, will be reliability. Like people start coming to the events if they're always there, if you understand what I mean. But if it's on one Saturday and then nobody hosts it for 2 Saturdays, and then maybe if it's sporadic, it will be harder to build attendance. So
I will say that it's easier for me to host on the weekdays rather than Saturday.
and I remember you mentioning you have a Party Pack 6, I think you said?
2 and 6, yes.
2 and 6. Awesome.
Alrighty, so we have both people who are interested in being there and people who are interested in hosting. And if you do end up hosting, we'll probably toss you a key for a game that you can give away during your event. So
cool.
And
Yeah.
of course, we'll help you promote that. So.
I like the idea that, with the multiple hosts, so like an alternative host in case things go wrong. I also wanted to ask, does it always have to be Jackbox games? Because I remember there used to be like it just be like free game Wednesday or something like that before. I know it's what most people are playing now with the free or just the events in general, but I kind of like the idea of diversifying the games that the community plays. I guess just to
All right, so a free to play game night.
yeah, basically. I remember doing those in the past, but I don't know if that's changed or something now.
Yeah, the reason we've
Yeah.
used Jackbox is because only the host has to have it. No one else has to download anything. They can come in 5 minutes late and jump right in and play. We have had free-to-play game events, but they take more heads up, like, okay, everybody download this game. That's what we're going to be playing this week. Plus,
Which isn't that hard to announce, I think.
no, it's not. And then you get different cross sections of the community if you have a high demand game compared to something that can run on a potato.
Right.
So-
Yeah, that would have to be taken into account for sure.
But yeah, those have always been a popular event in the past. So if someone is interested in coordinating that, that'd be awesome. I have
I
the
have-
Jackbox games, and that's simple.
I have a suggestion on that note. There's a thing that I recently ran into called a core game, and this would be up to whether or not you want to do it. But it's a kind of like a hub sort of thing, but it's free. People basically create their own games, and you can just log into them. Yeah, it's from Manicore Games, and it's called Core. It's called the Core System. So let me see. I can get a website here real quick. I believe so. It's here. Give me 1 second.
Sounds RPG-y.
I've never heard of this.
I just heard about it. I have the client on my computer, and you basically just pick something that exists and turn it on, and it is. Let me.
Oh, a link.
Yep. It's basically you download one thing, and that one thing allows you to access a bunch of other things. And these are all like user generated games. They actually look very good. Some of them are just like party pack kind of stuff. I remember I logged in. I played a marble kind of racing game. It was pretty interesting.
This
And
it's
actually
all
looks very interesting.
Community developed games or
Yeah, I heard about it when I turned on the newest Smosh video. So
cool.
Just a
Dungeons and
suggestion.
Dragons prop hunt, Tower
Uh,
of Terror.
yep, pretty much. That might add the versatility you guys are all looking for, and we can switch maybe between it and doing Jackbox and whatnot. And it's, from what I can tell, everything is free unless you want to like customize your character or buy assets to build with or something of that nature.
Now, most of these games appear to be like,
I mean, tool around it.
it looks like there's some RPGs and some other like multiplayer fun games and tower defense and that stuff. But I'm
Yep.
seeing a first-person shooter called Sniper Alley. I'm seeing a third-person runner called Death Run. Dodgeball.
It
kinds
reminds
of
me
stuff.
of that what's that PlayStation game where you can kind of create your own games on? Kind of reminds me of that. Popular, I think, with some YouTubers right now.
They even have Wipeout, which is kind of like that
Yeah.
TV show Wipeout.
Yeah, if you want to see it in action, you don't have to download anything. You can go to YouTube and look up the like Smosh summer games for this, and they just sit there and they play it because nobody can go out and actually do any summer games.
That's actually really interesting.
Yeah, I figured it might work better for what you guys just suggested.
can I just say this is exactly what our meetings are for? Is for people to just toss stuff like this out and let everybody know. And I mean, this could like really rejuvenate game nights, just having all the choices.
Yeah, and from what I understand, there's always new stuff coming in because it's users building things. I uninstall it. I think I uninstalled it. I was gonna log in and kind of show it up here really quick, but
All right. Just for this topic's sake, anybody else have any interesting information on free-to-play games or Jackbox Party Packs in particular that would be interested in hosting, or has any ideas like this site we just shared, which is quite interesting, actually? Anyone at all?
I'm sorry, what was the question, Niels?
Just wondering if we had any more on that particular topic before I move on to the next.
Okay, thank you.
In light of the overwhelming no's I'm receiving,
the tumbleweed rolling by.
wanted to let everybody know we had talked a long time about switching our website to a new host. Sky Ranger and myself actually coordinated that change, made that change, set up the new host with an operating system and all the doodads. We rsynced all of our content over. Sky Ranger and myself together, like, we had this done in no time. The CC Gaming website and forums are currently down, and the reason is not our fault at all. It's actually a weird thing that our old host we were trying so hard to get away from is doing to our domain name that they're not supposed to be doing to our domain name. So at the moment, we're actually going through the process of getting an authorization to move that domain name to a completely new host as well. So all of this that we've been trying to do for months went out. It probably took us about 3 hours altogether. Or actually, took Sky about 3 hours. But
Yeah,
all
thereabouts.
of the all of the back and forth on the DNS stuff is taking days. Partially because of how our system was set up, that we're trying to. The whole reason we were moving was to relinquish these kinds of problems to never happen again. And unfortunately, we're hitting a snag. So the website isn't here. We'll let you know as soon as it's back up. We're hoping to hear something, soon, but I mean, it could be Monday or Tuesday. Sorry. Wasn't supposed to happen. And then everything else that's on the docket looks like it's closed stuff. So anybody whatsoever, doesn't matter if you're a member or not, anybody have any open meeting business they'd like to toss out for the rest of us?
Hey, I'm happy
Anything
to.
you want
Hey, it's Pink Jockey. Hey, I'm happy the migration went well, and that there weren't too many, at least crazy challenges. Anyway, I'm sorry I wasn't able to be more supportive. I've been kind of tied up, so I do apologize.
No,
no worries,
worries,
man.
no worries. Honestly, the actual setup, I can't speak on behalf of Sky, but from what our interfacing back and forth, it was virtually painless. And like when he synced all the content over, it was like super duper crazy fast. And then when we tried to log in and actually set up the secure socket layer on the new server's DNS, that's when we found out that
Yeah.
our old host is pointing our DNS name at 2 IPs, and we were trying to figure out why, and it just went from there.
Oops.
They're ridiculous.
Cass.
I just got jumped by a little one.
But anyway, so yeah, that's all of our That's all on that topic. Does anyone have any open meeting business they want to bring up this evening? Any questions, any concerns, any thoughts, doesn't matter what it is, this is your time to take the floor. Anyone at all? Any topic at all?
Anybody got fish sticks questions?
Are they best with ketchup?
Yes.
Grilled or fried?
How goes
Baked.
the? Sorry. So how goes the efforts to roll out the next build of fish sticks? Is it looking good?
So far, everything's on course.
Outstanding.
For all you techies, most of you already would have guessed something like this, but I was on Discord the other day and I accidentally hit Control Shift and I and found out that it has a property inspector just like Chrome.
Well, yeah, isn't it built using Java?
Node.js. Yep.
Well, close enough, right? Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't
It
know
was
that.
just funny because I kind of tripped across keys and it popped up. I was like, what?
I didn't mean that snarky. I'm sorry. We had my kids' birthdays and graduation parties today. I've been going 1,000 miles an hour today, so I apologize if I sound snarky.
Fish sticks
You're
is
good.
snarky.
CC can handle some snark. Yeah, you already took all the portables off my desk here. Sorry, my niece. You want to play with that? Yeah. go play with
No.
that.
Oh, by the way, I wanted to mention in the meeting hall text channel, typing. That link still goes to our CC member app. So even without our website being up, if anybody wanted to apply, that membership app is external to our website, and it posts to a leadership channel here on Discord. So 100% external system from our website. If you're not a member and you'd like to apply, you can still do so. And it really doesn't feel good to tell all of you guys, oh, by the way, the site and the forums are down and it's not our fault. It's really not, though. We did everything right. This is why we wanted to move away from our current host.
So what exactly? I'm sorry, because I'm uberly
We were shared hosting at DreamHost. I do not suggest anyone ever use DreamHost.
Okay, so basically, to explain what's going on, just from the technical standpoint. So when we started working with DreamHost, we also started handling our domain registration through DreamHost as well. So the web host and the DNS and domain, all that mess was handled through DreamHost.
Okay.
Apparently, what's going on is since we handled the registration or domain registration through DreamHost along with the web server, those two got tied up somehow. And so anytime now that we're away from DreamHost as a web host, we use Vultr, one of those VPS droplets or whatever you want to call them.
Yep.
When you type in our domain name, despite the DNS record being set to point at the proper IP address for the Vultr droplet, DreamHost intervenes there and detects that it's not the DreamHost web server IP address and says, hey, we can't find that website. And you get a DreamHost error page. And in any normal situation, you would get like a server not found, like a browser error, or you would get the website, but you see a DreamHost error, which is not supposed to be the case.
DreamHost has a really, really dumbed down panel. They do not use cPanel or Webmin. They use some custom thing, which basically means white background, as little information as possible. Hey, you're dumb. Here's how you do your website. So you go there. And on the DNS registration page, it actually says your custom DNS information, and it says www and the bear domain name pointing to our new VPS IP. At the bottom of the page, it says these are the domain registrations you cannot change because they're tied directly into your hosting account. And at the bottom, it says www and bear IP, and it's pointing to our old IP. And I don't have the access on the panel to change that because I don't have full panel access, which is another reason we wanted to move, is because the person who does have full panel access is no longer an active CM. On our new VPS, Sky and myself will actively be the new admins, and we'll be able to add anyone else we want at any time. We'll be in full control.
Okay, so the IP address I'm sorry for dragging this down the rabbit hole. So the IP address I see for CC Gaming is currently 45.32.200.156.
Yep.
Okay. So
You can type in that IP address and you'll go to the new configured server, like web server or website, on the new box. But if you type in ccgaming.com, you won't get the proper site.
Go to that web address and you see the CC Gaming's front page, and you click any link to any other part of it. It'll try to go to the SSL CC Gaming domain, and you'll get a not found again.
well, that's funky.
Yep.
Matter of fact,
Welcome to
SSL SSL will not stick to the DreamHost IP because it's not really the IP anymore. DreamHost is pointing the untouchable IP at their IP, and the editable custom IP to the new IP, and the Cloudflare free or Let's Encrypt certificate or whatever knows that we're trying to point it at two different IPs, so it's pulling the SSL every time.
Yeah,
Okay.
so we can't really do anything. The
So
only
do-
thing that we can wait on at the moment is to have the DNS or the registrar changed out from something to not DreamHost.
Exactly. So what we're doing right now, I don't know how familiar you are with actually authorizing the EPP code on IPs,
a little
but
bit.
we're waiting for the person who has top-down access at our host
Mhm.
to actually go in and unlock the ability for us to move the host. Then it'll give them the authorization code or EPP code, which we will feed into somebody like Google Domains or whoever we choose as our new registrar.
Okay.
And then when it's done, he'll also have to hit an approve button when it's all finished. And every time we get a hold of him, it takes about 3 days to hear back.
That's rather frustrating.
That's
Right.
one reason we want to set our own system up. The website move, we had one problem because the first time he added our new VPS IP to the existing IP, so it was pointing at both. And we said, "Hey, problem, could you get rid of the old IP?" And he said, "Sure." And he thought he did. And it took another 3 days to hear back from him. So that right there took 6 days. It took Sky about an hour to get everything ready for the DNS. It took us about 6 days to get where we are now. By the time we're done, about 9 or 10 days. Just because we have to keep contacting this person over and over again.
Wolf.
Well, I'm sorry for the challenge. Hopefully we can,
Iron it out and fix it.
yeah, the whole domain registration thing's funky.
Well, it's partially because DreamHost is so dumbed down that they assume nobody would be dumb enough to use them as a registrar and not also as a host, I guess. Which we're not. We're not dumb enough to keep doing it. That's for sure.
It's like, all right, you guys are done. Thanks, appreciate it. Peace out.
Pretty much.
It's funny too because we're actually paid up until October.
Well, that's a good thing. That means the migration was done faster than you needed it to.
Oh, absolutely. We still have something like 30 something days. What's so funny about all this? Oh, they may have ALI, but again, I don't have that level of access.
Well,
I have tech access. I don't have owner access, I guess you could say. which is another reason we wanted the VPS. So on the VPS that we're on, we have effectively access over domain names, instances, the OS we're using, its updates, whether or not we're using SSH or not.
I assume this thing's running. I assume this thing's running on Debian or Ubuntu.
Ubuntu
It's
20.
Ubuntu 20. Yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah, it's if you go to that IP address and the CC front page pops up, you'll see it pops up in literally like maybe 0.2 milliseconds. I mean, it's fast.
It's instant, yeah.
Yeah, and also, our instance has been running now for several days, and I think have we even hit $2 yet?
No, we have not.
Okay. And remember that we were already paying like $10 a month. We're already well into this month with the VPS, and we haven't even hit $2 yet.
Yeah, it's awesome. Thus
Nice.
far.
It's good to hear. Good to hear.
And yeah, I mean, our existing host's memory was something like 128 megabytes. Our new VPS has 8 gigabyte. So yeah.
Right. So you'll be able to run more plugins and stuff.
Well, yeah. I mean, generally, most of that stuff that we have is design oriented stuff, and they tend to use a little bit of RAM. And I use SiteGround for my personal websites, and I think I run 256 megabytes with no issues at all. So a gigabyte here is going to be like magical, like unicorn level magical.
Purple pixie dust. Got it. I'm with you.
All right. Well, anybody else have any other interesting questions or thoughts that they would like to accomplish in our meeting? Thank you, Eli, for that peanut gallery commentary. It's magic.
Hopefully stuff that won't put everybody else to sleep.
I do it for a living.
You're good.
So I'm good.
Right, but you probably sleep well too, right? Alrighty, well, ladies and gentlemen, I really appreciate your attention and your time. Cass is asking if anybody be up for a quick game of Quiplash after the meeting. So she's kind of impromptu hosting a Jackbox this very night. Leaders, do you have any reason to believe that we should be going into closed? I know that Sky has one thing in the docket that is about that.
The only thing left is member applications, and I don't think we have any pressing ones. Either they're too new to consider, or they're old and they haven't had much activity. So the discussion would probably end with, well, let's see if they come back.
Alrighty, I guess that means we have no reason for a close. So I'll call this meeting officially adjourned. Anybody that's interested in playing Quiplash, you stay right here. We'll play right here, can we?
Yeah.
Alrighty.
So I don't mean to crash the meeting if you guys have somewhere to go, but I thought at least once I can show the people who are generally not there for Wednesdays what a Quiplash game is like. So if you're interested, give me a sign and I'll open the game. I can even do a key giveaway.